Jake Hudson wants to know, what do you think of the Joe Cronin, the YouTuber?
It was funny that I found a fan sent me I think the first or second show that I ever did with Joe Cronin. And to answer your question about what I think about him, I think he is a big blowhard that likes to blow his own cock a lot, to be honest with you, with no credentials to back it up with. His claim to fame is that he wrestled a stuffed bear in the ring, and I wouldn't have even done his show had I known he was the guy that did it. And then, well, he's got me on as a guest of the show. He plays a clip of him wrestling the bear, and I'm sitting there like, you got to be fucking me. How did I not know that this was the guy that wrestled a fucking teddy bear? The only thing that saved that thing is that there was actually no people there to see it. It was just something he filmed that apparently he thought was funny, and they did commentary over it and all that. But so I'm doing the Joe Cronin show. Because I actually thought he had a good format. He had a good voice. He just didn't know when to shut up and didn't know when it was his time to talk and when it wasn't. On the Joe Cronin show, he can talk all the fuck he wants. But on the Bolin Alley, I'll do the talking and you ask the questions, and your opinions are accepted when you're asked to give them. Right, Spider?
That's right.
You know that. So immediately it ain't going well with me and him, but we do the Cornette show, and I'd already left. Who's the guy I had in England? What's his name? 5 years.
Barry Harnett.
No.
Jerry.
Barry Harnett.
Barry
Adam Ginsberg.
Jerry.
I don't know. I can't think of his name.
I can't think of his name either.
The guy in England. Doesn't even like to admit that he lives in England. No. And so he'd been with me for 5 years, and then I left him and went with Cronin, mainly because he would not upgrade his damn equipment. And he did get a better microphone, but he didn't get a better computer to go with it. And we couldn't teach him how to hold the microphone, and I could never, he was talking to the wrong side of it and everything. And you couldn't understand what he was saying. So, but other than that, me and Harry did fine, and we got 5 years out of it. So,
was it Harry or Sherry? I don't know.
Might have been Sherry Barnett. I can't remember.
Sherry something.
And and before Harry there was Dickin, and before Dickin there was the Who's Slamming Who folks. What was his name? You tell I just can't remember anybody's name.
I can't
remember. But so I'd been for a few, and then so at the very beginning of the show, and there's a link to it on my Twitter account if you tab down far enough. At the beginning of the show, Cornette tells Cronin, he says, "You do realize this is a part-time job, right? You do realize that Bolin don't keep people like you around very long, and that this is only a part-time job." Well, he lasted 2 shows, found out when I moved into this house and I did Cornette's show, I fired him on Jimmy's show. That's how he found out he was fired. And then, of course, after him was Brian Last. And then Brian got fired on Twitter after he had secretly called Cornette behind my back to bitch about Chris and Maya eating him alive on a show, talking about EPOs. And I lit his ass up when he called Russo a pussy for filing the EPO. I said, well, number one, he filed it because me, Chris, and Maya told him to. And the reason it was done is to lay paperwork to where if Jimmy shows up in his yard with a fucking gun, he's got the right to defend himself. And because the first thing they're going to ask was this man in violation of an EPO? Why did you shoot him? Because you don't normally like to wait for them to shoot first, and then you hope you get to fire off a shot back. If you fire an EPO and they break that EPO and come on your property, then you have the right to shoot first to get, because you're assuming they're coming there to do damage. If an EPO has been filed, it's been served, and if I go there, there's a chance I'm going to get shot. So that is why you file an EPO, to lay a groundwork of protection should you be forced to defend yourself. But Brian Last wanted to call Russo a pussy because he filed the EPO. So by calling him a pussy, he's calling me a pussy because I'm the one that told him to do it. Along with Chris and Maya, who actually worked and for 3 years in law offices that specialized in EPOs. And they were the ones that also said, Dad, no, he's got to do it. You know, the man's threatening his life. And Jimmy's calling me, plotting out how he's going to do it. So, which he'd never done before. So I felt it was better to be safe than sorry. So that's how, you know, so Cronin got replaced, Lass got replaced. Who's the asshole with Russo that I fired?
Jeff Lane.
Jeff Lane. Well, he quit producing the shows. Well, he quit hosting the shows. He produced them. And then he kept running his dick licker over me and Trump and secretly trying to get me fired to Russo behind my back. And Russo told me about it. And so I just sat back and thought about it for a while. I said, well, why do I want to work with a bunch of people that are always secretly trying to fuck with me and get me fired off the show? I mean, Russo did not want that to be the case, but, you know, I had to do these shows with these other people and why work with, but I didn't realize that they were every single one Trump supporters. I didn't know that.
All of them were?
Russo supports The Office. He made it clear that he supports The Office. I took it to be that he supported Trump, and I called him a Trump supporter on one of the shows. And apparently not Brian Last, but Jeff Lane does, because he got mad enough when I would bash Trump on the shows. And then Vito is an admitted Trump supporter, but he's stupid. What else would he do? And but yeah, they said just about everybody on that network are big time Trump supporters, except for maybe Miss Chantel over in England, which I highly doubt that she is. So, you know, it just was not a good place for me to be. And I liked Russo. Me and Russo are still friends. We talk about once or twice a month, and he got upset that I quit on him without, you know, notification. Well, there was notice. I told him on Twitter. It was kind of notice.
Right.
But he wanted to try and fix things, which I knew he would want to do, but I didn't want them fixed. I didn't want to do anything that Jeff Lane or Vito was going to be involved in anymore. So
Carlos says that me and you need to learn Spanish. And then he also states he don't know who you are. He's trying to figure out it because he's never seen you on WCW or WWF.
Well, that's a shame, because if he's got WWE TV, I'm all over it right now with Gym Classics, or Classic Gyms, I think it's called. And I've been on WWE Network for the better part of really since their existence, because about every time they showed Cena packages from back in the day, I'm in there, and all the guys that I managed, I'm on, and many of the fans have sent me notifications letting me know that I'm on there doing promos and all this shit. But really, if you're a wrestling fan and you watch WWE and you do any homework at all, it seems to me that you would do some research and find out where John Cena came from, where Dolph Ziggler come from, where Mark Henry come from, where Damian Sandow came from. I don't know how long he's been a WWE fan, whether it's been weeks, months, or years. But the real fans all know who I was because they all bought the OVW DVDs. And needless to say, I was on every one of them for the better part of about 14, 15 years, 17 years. And I just find it hard to believe that if you claim that you're a real wrestling fan and you do your research any at all, or if you can hit Google, I don't know. I mean, I did one of the most famous spots ever done with me, Cena, and Mark Cuban. I scooped the WWE on that. I got Mark Cuban before they did. And me and Cornette did a couple of bits with George Steinbrenner down in Florida. And, you know, I mean, I'm not offended by it because some people just don't do that much research or look into it. Hell, there's a lot of guys who don't realize the stars that came from NXT.